Alrighty then. Share screen. Okay. So once I'm done all the announcement stuff, I'll have to get my camera set up really quick. It's just going to be on me, not on you guys. Because I was going to try to set it up, and I was like, it's too complicated. Whatever. So anyway, some announcements. So in case you haven't heard, November to Remember registration has been extended until tomorrow. So if you haven't gotten your team together, make sure you do. I was going to set up the Voxer group and give everybody some guidelines because there is going to be a decent amount of people in there and I don't want it to be overwhelming. So I'm going to give some like guidelines and stuff in like terms of the length of your message and how long it can be, and no like messaging each other like 50 times back and forth, like keeping it simple, just like kind of for challenges and stuff like that. But I'm going to talk about that. But I don't want to do that until everybody's registered. So tomorrow night, I will probably have it ready. So make sure you register your team. If you still don't have a team, please just message me or your coach and we'll help you get set up. Also a little obsessed, as we were talking about in the beginning of the call, all the workouts are going to be live this week. If you haven't checked them out, they're only up for 24 hours and they're all at 9 a.m. They're going live at 9 a.m. Pacific time, 12 p.m. Eastern, which for me, I'm like, because I love working out in the morning, but I've been like waiting and doing my workout then. But the workouts are only up for 24 hours. So make sure if you want to do them, maybe you have to move your workout schedule like mine, and maybe you're like, the only time I can work out is in the morning. So if you can only work out in the morning, if you can try to work out at night, even if you don't want to try, but if you can't, it's not the end of the world. I'm sure they're going to do a different one. And this probably is just a test run. I don't really know why they're doing it at that time. Like, I don't know why they wouldn't do it at 6 a.m. because I feel like a lot more people work out at 6 a.m. than like 12 p.m. But I don't know. It's very strange. But anyway, November Coach Academy is live. You can still be added to the group. It is only 14 days. So if you want to be added, you want to be added now. We're messing. Last month we did 30 days. This month we're doing 14 days. We're kind of seeing how it's going. So make sure that you request to be added within today or tomorrow if you want to be a part of that. Also, if you haven't seen in the calendar or heard me talk about this, I'm going to be doing a triple threat call. I'm calling it the triple threat. And it's going to be a call that's like the team call, but it's going to be not business related whatsoever at all in any way, shape, or form. And it's actually meant to be for our coaches on the team that aren't working the business, but are just discount coaches. But I don't want to call it the discount coach call. But at the same time, you guys are invited too. So I'm going to be teaching guys about different things, not about Beachbody stuff, like literally nothing Beachbody, nothing business. It's going to be, I might like talk about some Beachbody stuff, but I'm going to teach you guys about, nutrition things and fitness things and things that I've learned and mindset things, and just help you guys have that triple threat. So whether you're knowing this so you can get on the call, it's going to be every Monday. And if you can get on, great. If you can't, no big deal. It will be recorded. But let your discount coaches know. Don't tell them it's a discount coach call. Just let them know it's this new triple threat health, fitness, and mindset call. And I really want to do it, one, to help you guys on a totally different aspect, but two, also get some discount coaches who may not be necessarily interested in the business joining this call, getting in the right mindset, and who knows, they could turn into somebody who wants to work in business. So some leadership announcements, I'm not getting deep into them, but To Be Mindset is coming out in spring of 2018, which is a mindset program. It is not a fitness program, which I'm really excited about. It's all about people who struggle with emotional eating and cravings and all things like that. Check out the YouTube video. It's amazing. Also, we're coming out with bars, like basically like a Kind bar type of thing, that you can check out the FAQ. There isn't still a ton of information about it because they're still working out the kinks. I don't even think they have like the packaging yet, but that's coming out, which is really, really cool. And selling a box of 3 of them is going to be worth 3 Success Club points, which is like, whoa. And then there's going to be, I'm not sure when, but there's going to be a 6-episode series where Autumn is basically going to teach people how to use the containers in like a super easy way. Because I don't know about you guys, but I hear all the time, I don't know how to use the containers. It confuses me. And I make a video and I include it in my challenge group. Ned, stop. But for some reason, some people still can't understand it. So they're doing that. And then the weekly challenge is going to be to pick 2 visualizations, one business and one personal. And we're going to teach you how to do that on the call, and practice them each morning this week. And then if you want, again, we're going to talk about this, write a letter to yourself in the future about what you want your life to look like, and then send it to your coach. You don't have to, that's optional, but it's always nice to send it out into the universe. Ned, please stop. Okay, shout out for the second week of November, coaches on the board who are at 500 PV plus. You guys are rocking it. And shout out to everybody who's super, super close. I know with the week, sometimes it changes and you're like, oh, I was just at like 700 and now I'm at 300. It always goes up and up and down. So, but you always want to be aiming to be at 500 no matter how low it drops. So I'm always doing that with my second CBC. So keep pushing yourself. I can't talk. Shout out to Jessica. I know it's still early in the month, so we usually don't have a ton of people on the board just yet, but shout out to Jessica for already hitting and being the only person on the board. You are a shining star. And then everybody else who already has some Success Club points on the board. Okay, I think that's it. Okay, so let me get my Instagram live set up really quickly. Let me get this set up. All right. Hi, Instagram Live. Oh, I need to pin a comment. Did you guys know you could pin comments? Hey, so I'm with my team right now. I'm going to let you guys know. Wait, this is about visualizations. Oh my gosh. Every time I tried to spell that word when I was doing this call, it was definitely a big difficulty for me. Okay. Okay, I think we're all good. Okay, so let's talk about visualizations and the why and the how of how they work. And I'm going to kind of be going back and forth. I'm talking to my team on my computer over here and Instagram Live over here. So shout out, hi everybody who's on there. Okay, so what we're going to talk about tonight. Number one, I'm going to talk to you guys about what are visualizations. What exactly are they? What do they mean? All that fun stuff. Then I'm going to talk about why do you need to use them? What are the benefits of using visualizations? And they're different than affirmations, and this is something I'm going to talk about tonight. They're different than affirmations. They're along the same wavelength, but they're definitely different, and there's something that I wasn't always doing. I was doing my meditations, I was doing my affirmations, but I wasn't always doing the whole visualization thing. Next, I'm going to talk about how they work, the actual science behind them, because this isn't just frou-frou fluff, like hippie tree hugging stuff. There actually is some science behind this. And then we're also going to be talking about how you can create your own, make them specific to yourself, and then if anybody has any questions. Okay, so before I actually get into the call, I want to share the first 5 minutes of this video, Instagram Live. I'm going to switch you over here. And it's this, it's kind of getting you guys primed for what we're going to talk about tonight. So I'm just going to share this. Tony Robbins is my man. And then we'll get into the rest of the call. Oh, wait, it's starting early. Just kidding.
So, think about what's the holy grail between somebody taking action or not. It's one word, certainty. When somebody is absolutely certain, the common word is believe, right? But, you can believe at a general level or you can believe with certain. When you're absolutely certain that if I do this, it's going to get that result and that result's going to change my life, you'll do it. When you think it absolutely is not going to work, you're never going to do it. The middle no man's land of maybe it'll work, maybe it won't, that's the piece that kills people. Right? So if it's a must for you, you got to make it work. Right? In our case, right? It's an example. If it's not a must for you and you're not sure, you don't know what to do. So years ago, I'd look around and say, okay, how do people get themselves to follow through that haven't been following through? What's the difference? And I started interviewing hundreds of people, literally, and eventually thousands, because I had thousands of my events. So I'd ask the group to give me their feedback. And I came up with this model. It's like the holy grail of belief or the holy grail of momentum. It's like the difference between what makes the rich get richer and the poor get poor. Right? And the difference we all know is mindset, but like, how's that built? So this is what I did. I created stupid little 4 little boxes, and I'll scribble it here for you. You think about the first thing that determines whether you can do something or not, and I put that in this first box at the top here on the left side, and it's potential. Like, what's the potential of a human being? Like, when you guys started, you proved something no one had done in history. You ran the 4-minute mile, right? For golly knows how many centuries, they're trying to run a 4-minute mile. Roger Bannister does it. How did he do it? Do you remember? You did it in this industry, right? You made $1 million in a day. No one had ever done that in history, right? After you did it, a bunch of other guys are doing it because it became possible. Roger Bannister didn't just go physically practice. He made a shift in his head. He practiced in his head because he could never achieve it physically, so he had to change in his head first so that the result became certain enough he believed it, and then his body got him through. After Roger Bannister ran that 4-minute mile, within 2 years, 37 people ran a 4-minute mile.
That's amazing.
And no one in history had ever done it. Now, here's how it works. The potential for anybody getting your product is extraordinary. They can do what you've done as much, more or less. They can do whatever they want to do. The potential's there. The market's proven that. Whether or not they tap into that potential has a lot to do with what action they take, which is the question you came to me with, right? Like, God, they have this potential, but they're not taking action. And we all know that the action they take is going to determine the results they get. That's pretty obvious. So most people have a belief about what their real potential is no matter what you tell them. And that affects how much action they take. And of course, that affects the result. And then ironically, that result reinforces their belief. And then that belief affects it. So I'll give you an example. Let's say a person has unlimited potential, we all agree. But they take little action, little results. Why? Because they have to start with a problem with their belief. They don't believe it's really going to happen for me. Maybe for Frank Kearns because he got the cool hair and stuff, or maybe it's for you because you're so driven, but it's not me. Maybe Tony Robbins because he's a freak, got these big teeth. Whatever their thought process is, right? They got this thing, right? But what happens is if you believe that there's very little potential, how much action are you going to take? Nothing, little. And when you take little potential with a little action, what kind of results do you get? Lousy little results. And when you get little results, what does that do to your belief? You go, see, I told you this was a waste of time, told you this wouldn't work. And then what happens? You tap even less potential. You take even less action. You get even worse results, and your belief gets even weaker. And this sucker feeds on itself until you are in a downward spiral.
It's poisonous.
It's poisonous and it's self-fulfilling. Now, what if something could happen that could come along and fill you with a sense of absolute certainty? Not like I believe, but where you know. In you guys' case, mine as well, we knew because we had to. Because we burned the boats. There was no other option. We had to find a way. We weren't going to live that way. We all did it in different ways and for different reasons, but in essence, that was it. If you get yourself in a state of certainty that this is going to work, I'm going to find a way, and if this doesn't work, I will make the way, then you tap a lot more potential. And when you're certain in your potential, you take massive action. When you take massive action, you really believe in something, you get great results. When you get great results, your brain goes, see, I told you I was a stud. I told you this thing would work out. Now you're even stronger. You tap more potential, take greater action, greater results. That's how you went from $300 in a week to $2,500 in 5 days to $100,000 in a month to $1 million in a day. Same thing with you. And we get momentum. That's why the rich get richer and the poor get poorer. Now some people go out and they go, well, I'm going to take a bunch of action. All right, I'm going to open this product. I'm going to try it. And they'll say to you, I even did it. But it's like a salesman who goes and knocks on the door, and he knocks on 100 doors and says,
you don't want one of these, do you?
Yeah, exactly right. And even if he doesn't say it verbally, his face says it because he doesn't believe it's going to work. So his voice, his body, the execution is so weak. Maybe if he talks to 100 people, somebody's going to buy out of pity. They don't want his kids to starve, right? But he's not going to get the result. So the core difference in people is how do you produce certainty when the world isn't giving it to you? You go out and you try and you're
Okay. So I just wanted to show that because it leads into what I'm going to talk about. So, and I loved the point, and this can be used for anything. I know everybody on the call we're talking about, business. I mean, this is personal too. This is your beliefs in yourself of, he talks about the guy knocking on the door and, the look on his face, he's just like, you don't want one of these, do you? Versus like having that confidence. That can be towards your business. That could be your personal life. That can be in your relationships. That can be anything. But that is, oh my God, I feel like I get chills when I hear that because that is where so many people are stuck in any different aspect of their life, whether that's business or personally, physically, because when you show up to do your workout every day, you're like, I haven't seen any results. Why am I going to see any results now? So this is why we're going to focus on how important this whole visualization thing is to really help you get in that mindset. So that's not even an issue anymore. Okay. So what are visualizations? So visualizations are basically when you're sitting alone, usually in the morning time, when you use images to prime your mind to visualize and then achieve the goals that you dream for yourself. So it's basically developing this mental imagery. It's also the way they word it is a mental rehearsal. So in your head, you're basically rehearsing what you want to happen, need to happen, in your life. You create these images in your mind that basically are you create these images in your mind that have you doing or achieving whatever it is that you want to do. So we basically, you guys know I'm all about energy. I mean, energy is real stuff, but we basically live in this giant orb, which is the earth and the universe of vibrating energy that is very responsive to how and what we think. What's the quote? What you think of all day long is what you become. So what you're constantly focused on all day long, I'm so broke, I'm fat, I'm ugly, I hate my job, I hate my relationship, my life is totally awful. As soon as I get it, I always hear this from people, just as soon as I get ahead, another bill comes up. If you constantly are saying those things to yourself, you are going to continue to get those things. So our thoughts are creative forces that are constantly expressing themselves in our lives, our thoughts. So what we're constantly thinking about expresses, our thoughts literally manifest and express themselves. Our thoughts are actual things, our energy. They express themselves through our lives. So constantly negative, your thoughts are manifesting and expressing themselves into your negative life. Okay. So I don't know why that always double does that. Okay, so let's talk about the benefits. I am going to talk about how to make them and all that other stuff, but I always like talking about the benefits first. So number one, in terms of increasing motivation. So visualization helps to increase motivation because you're imagining you accomplishing your end goal, whether that's achieving a certain goal weight, whether that's achieving your dream job, living this perfect life in this house, and then, you have a nanny that takes care of your 20 kids. I don't know, whatever it is that you want to accomplish in life, you're increasing your motivation because you're imagining these things happening. If you lack motivation to work out, but you visualize what it's going to feel like to feel good about yourself in the summertime. And not that there is any perfect beach body. I'm not talking about it like that, but whatever it is that you want to feel good, whether that's you at 500 pounds or 100 pounds, whatever it is, you know what it feels like to feel good, or you know what you want to feel like. So when you start visualizing and imagining that increases your motivation because you're like, okay, no, I do not need to eat this donut. I'm going to feel good. And yes, you can have balance and all of that stuff, but it's going to motivate you to push you. So this whole visualization thing isn't just about imagining these things and hoping they come true. It actually physically increases your motivation to want to do them. If you need to finish a midterm or finish a paper because you're about to get a break in school, if you're in college, or you're gonna clean your house and at the end it's gonna look all nice and shiny. For me, I love the idea of having a clean house. So for me, I get really excited about when I get to light the candle and the floors are all nice and you can see the lines from the vacuum and the carpet. I'm like, oh my God, I love that. So for me, that's motivation to get it done. If we're talking business wise, finishing your power hour and feeling how good it feels to follow up with your people and check in with your challengers and check in with your coaches. Or what we're going to get into at the end is, for me, my visualizations really have to do with my dream life. So for me, when I do my visualization, I won't get super into it, but I have a ton of visualizations, but my one visualization, I'll be super out front and honest with you guys. I visualize that I'm waking up in Austin, Texas, and I have this perfect gray slate house with these big windows in the front, and there's a BMW X6 in matte green, black leather interior in the driveway. And in my house, it's very minimalist, but there's very mountain type of style decor, and it's brown and green. I literally know what my backyard looks like, what my bedroom, what my office looks like. I visualize that. Do you know how much that increases my motivation? I'm like a freaking Pinterest board in my head because I want all of that. Yes, I do. And then I do that, and then I go to work and I'm like, let's get this ish done because I want that in my life. Okay, moving on. It creates excitement. So that's the other point, as you can see with my excitement. It helps you define, of course, my phone's about to die. It helps you define what you want in your life. So sometimes I hear from people, they're like, okay, I know I want an awesome life, but I don't really know what I want. How do I figure that out? What the visualization does, because it's so specific, it takes your attention away from what you don't want and lets you focus on what you wish to experience. So it removes, because you are focusing on all the good things that you want, it helps to remove the emotion, the negative emotion and the doubt from your mind, because you're just when I'm visualizing my house in Austin and what I want my life to look like and everything that's going on, I'm not thinking about the doubt. I don't have fear. I'm not thinking about any of that. I'm thinking about how much of a rock star I want to be. That's the cool thing about visualization, is you get to be whoever the hell you want in your visualization, which again helps you focus on the things that you wish to experience. Okay, so in terms of optimizing performance, what does that mean? It basically mentally prepares you for challenging circumstances. So I read this in the book Success Principles by Jack Canfield. He's the creator of this Chicken Soup for the Soul series. Highly recommend that book. I don't know why my phone keeps going dark when I have it on Instagram Live. But in the book, he talks about how Olympic athletes, because Olympic athletes, they literally train for 4 years before they get, or 2 years if they're in the summer, whatever. But they train for years and years and years before they have their events. So he talked about how swimmers, these two divers, I think they were two divers, they did this whole visualization thing where they would, at practice, they would have their coach, like at the end of they would practice normally, and at the end of practice, they would finish every practice for literally years and years and years with their coach, like pretending to speak into the mic, and they'd be like, up next, blah, 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 like, and say their names. And they knew that they had to beat, like, they even visualized to a T that they were going up against the Chinese, and they had to beat them by like a certain amount of points, and they had to nail the dive. Like, they didn't have any room for error, and they did it, and they always did it perfectly, and they practiced that for years and years and years. Wouldn't you know it, and this is all the whole manifestation thing, the next year that they went into the Olympics, they were up against the Chinese. They had to nail the dive in order to win, and they did, and they nailed it. But the reason why visualization optimized your performance by mentally prepping you for challenging circumstances is because they weren't scared. They weren't up there like, oh my God, literally I'm on an international stage and I have to win this. They were like, dude, we've done this a million times. Like, we got this. That's the other thing with visualization, is it just helps you handle those situations like a freaking boss. So you're better able to respond to future anxieties. For my girls that have anxiety, I have anxiety. For me to be able to visualize tackling really big goals or really big things I want to accomplish, and it helping me deal with the anxiety because I'm dealing with it in my visualization and building that confidence. Hello, why would you not want to do that? Okay, so there's 2 more benefits, and then we're going to get into kind of the how. So the fourth one is it helps increase positive thoughts, which is pretty obvious. You want to be a friend to yourself, not an enemy. And this is a question I'm sure you've heard before, but you need to constantly ask yourself this if you struggle with self-love. Would you want to be friends with someone who talked to you the way you talk to yourself? That's a powerful thing to think. Would you want to be friends with someone who speaks to you the way you speak to yourself in your mind when you're negative to yourself? So you need to make sure, and this is what visualization helps do, is it helps increase positive thoughts. Because if you're constantly thinking, I'm a rock star, I make 7 figures, I'm in the best shape of my life, I have a great marriage, a great relationship, I treat my kids, like the best mom ever, you're going to have those positive thoughts. But if you're not doing these visualizations and you're like, I'm the worst wife ever, I hate my marriage, I'm broke, blah, 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 all these negative things, what do you think you're going to get? So that's why it's going to help increase your positive thoughts. By increasing positive thoughts, today you begin to invite positive outcomes into your life. This is the whole thing with manifestation. It's not about thinking positive, like, oh, I'm so positive, and then you just find a pot of gold in your lap. You are really positive, and then you manifest those positive outcomes in your life because you take more chances, you go for more opportunities, all that stuff. Last thing it does is it helps to reduce stress, which is pretty obvious. But when you're focusing on and imagining your life being a badass, there's no way you're going to be stressed. Now, yes, you can be stressed, throughout the day, but during your visualizations, you're not going to be stressed. You're going, and any type of exercise that helps lower your stress, lower your blood pressure, do all of those things is good for you. And you may have stressful situations in the rest of the day, but guess what? You're going to be able to handle them in such a better way. Okay, how does this actually work? So there is science behind it. So scientists have proven that, and you can look this stuff up, whether we walk a mountain trail or only picture it, we activate many of the same neural networks, which are basically passive interconnected nerve cells. It's just all the stuff in your brain that link what your body does to the brain impulses that control it. So and they've done tests on this where they've had people do something and imagine something, and they get almost the same results. So I have on the thing golf and finger strength, hip flexor test. It's all a mental workout. So it explains what those are. Jack Nicklaus, who's one of the most famous golfers in the entire world, used to visualize each shot before he did it. He would practice it in his head. He would never take a shot without doing that. There was also 2 separate tests. I forget what schools they were done by or like what research studies they were, but you can look them up, Google it, and at me if you want. There were 2 separate ones where they did this whole thing with like finger strength, and if you could increase your actual muscle strength in terms of like your finger strength, and hip flexor tests. So they had people who were like using little like finger weights and resistant things, like, you know, working their finger strength. And then they had people literally just sitting there and imagining that their finger was moving. Same thing with hip flexor tests. They had people who were doing a hip flexor, like on a hip flexor machine, working it out. And then they had people that were sitting there imagining, and this was like every day for like weeks, imagining that they were doing this. And they had literally just like an inch a difference. Like obviously the person who actually did it just did a little bit better, but the fact that they were pretty much the same and a person just thought about doing the exercise, don't try to tell me that this stuff doesn't work. These are tests, these are proven, this is real life stuff. So my question is to everybody is, why would you not want to try this? So many people are against meditation and against visualization, but this is literally the cheat code to life. Now, again, you don't get to just do this stuff and then be like, oh, okay, I'm going to sit in bed and hope it happens. You still have to be proactive, but why would you not want to do something where you can just visualize and have it come to you quicker than if you just didn't do it and you were negative all the time? Like literally, I would love for someone to argue against this because I just don't know. Okay, so how to create your own. On Facebook Live, you are driving me nuts right now. So number 1, first you need to figure out your goals and aspirations. So you can't have these visualizations about things if you don't know what they are. So number 1, you need to brainstorm and brain dump all the things you want in life. So you don't need to do this now. Just do this and, you know, make this your homework for the week. Brainstorm and brain dump all the things you want in life. So where you want to live, what you want your life to look like in 5 to 10 years, business, relationships, physically, mentally, career, travel, accomplishments, spiritually, everything. Whatever, you just brain dump it all. You're not going to do visualizations about every single thing, but you just want to brain dump. You know, you don't have to get specific like I did about the house thing. You'll get there, but just say, you know, what a general idea of what you want your life to look like. And then you're going to turn these into visualizations. So then once you kind of have those all brain dumped, you want to pick about 5, I'd say, and then optional, this part's optional, write a letter to yourself in the future. So write a letter to yourself of how your career's going. Write a letter to yourself, and when you're writing it, you can either do a few different options. Well, actually, I'm going to talk about that next, so hold the phone on that one. But write a letter to yourself just basically based off of kind of how you want everything to go in your life. Then you want to rotate them or focus on them based off when you want these things to happen. So I do my visualization about my little house in Austin and all those things probably at least once a week. But I do some other visualizations about some goals that I need to hit in the next few weeks. You know, whether they're fitness goals, mental goals, spiritual goals, relationship goals, whatever it is, you can focus on them, you know, in different ways. Okay. So next, you want to pick a time, preferably in the morning, and pick a quiet spot where you're not going to be disturbed. And you can do it super early in the morning before the kids wake up, before, you know, the hubby wakes up, before the wife wakes up. So you want to pick one of your goals, close your eyes, and start speaking to yourself as if it's already happened. This is not like I hope I live in this gorgeous mansion in Georgia. I don't know, wherever you want to do. So there's different ways that you can do this. So you can visualize that you're meeting yourself in the future and you're having a conversation and you're asking questions. Now, this may seem really crazy, but this is all that stuff I just talked about. Again, why would you not want to try this? So you can do that. There's lots of meditations. If you go on YouTube and search Meet Your Future Self or Future Visualization meditations, there's literally meditations that will guide you through it. It'll be like, you know, all this fancy stuff about keeping you, you know, connected to the universe, and then you fly up into the cosmos, you come back down, and you're in your life 20 years in the future, which I think is pretty cool. And I'll share a call on the team page. If anybody is interested in checking out the call or the meditation, let me know and I'll send it to you on Instagram. But I'll share it in the team page tomorrow when I share this recording. You can also talk to yourself as if you're waking up in your perfect life, which is what I do. I imagine that I wake up in my bed, what my bedroom looks like. And for me, that's like so freaking exciting. I don't know about anybody else, but like you Pinterest pin all those things. Like imagine waking up in your Pinterest board. Like, why would you not want to do that, right? So literally, if that kind of helps you visualize it, do that. Like, you know, I have, whenever I get engaged and I'm, you know, want my perfect wedding and I have, you know, business goals to help me reach those perfect things that I want, I'm going to be visualizing about my wedding like 24/7. And you want to make sure you speak to yourself as if you are, it is the future. So the other option is to speak as if you're completing a task you wish to accomplish. Maybe you're not seeing yourself 20 years in the future, but maybe you're seeing yourself completing all your to-dos this week. Maybe it's something as simple as that. If you struggle with things like that, just imagine it's the end of the week and you're like, oh my God, I literally crossed off everything on my to-do list. Like, you're going to feel real good about that. You also want to use all 5 senses. This is super important. I love doing this in my visualization. I feel like I'm traveling to like another planet. It's the coolest thing. You want to imagine what it smells like. So I have this, just a side note, I have this dream that I want, me and Pat wants to do it too, that we both want to have a food truck, not anytime soon, but later on down the road, where we both own a food truck and it's only open Thursday to Sunday. And like we drive around the city, whatever, but only Thursday to Sunday. And we have bulletproof coffee. So in my visualization in the morning, I imagine waking up to the smell of bulletproof coffee and Pat's in the kitchen making it. Like, I get that specific. Again, it makes me super excited about it. And it makes me want to push myself to get to that point, because I know I can't reach it if I'm not getting there, which what Tony Robbins talked about in the beginning, the video that I showed you. It creates that belief and makes you not just think, but know that you have the potential to do that. So imagine all the senses, what things feel like, what you hear. Maybe you don't have kids. Maybe you're trying to get pregnant and you hear the little pitter patter of feet in your house. I can't tell you how many times I've heard stories about women who started meditating and visualizing that they were getting pregnant and they got pregnant. I'm not saying it's a cure-all end-all, but I'm just saying. And then you want to make sure that you are the star of the show, not the audience. So you don't want to imagine that you're seeing yourself do these things. You want to imagine that you're from like a GoPro, like whatever. I can't think of the word I'm thinking of, but like you're seeing it happen as if it's happening to you, because it is happening to you. Okay. So this is really the last part. And then I want to share the last 3 minutes of that video, and then I'm going to let you guys go. But the last thing is that practice makes perfect. With these visualizations, this is going to be something that, especially if you're not used to this thing, it's going to feel really weird. You're going to be like, what in the world is this? This feels really strange. And this stuff doesn't work overnight. It takes time to reprogram your brain. So you have to trust and know that you are capable of so much. So don't let that doubt creep up. I promise you that it's not going to. But in your personal life, business, physically, spiritually, everything, you have to believe, or you just have to work on that belief and you will get there. Okay, so I want to go back. How do I exit out of here? Back. Whoa. No, I don't want to do that. Give me 1 second. 1 second. And then I'm going to share this last part, because he kind of just, basically what he talks about is that he asked the guy kind of how he got, because the people that he's interviewing, they were the first people ever to make $1 million in a day. Could you imagine making $1 million in a day? Like, how awesome would that be? Okay, so I'm going to flip this around really quick. And wish my computer wasn't being like super slow. Every time you need it to be fast, isn't that when it's always slow? I'm visualizing my computer working faster. Okay. All right, you can do it, computer. I believe in you. I see you playing the video. Hang in there with me, guys. We're almost there. Okay, where do we leave off?
Verbally, his face says it because he doesn't believe it's going to work.
Okay.
Going the way you did it, the way I did it, the way you're doing it, we may not have done it consciously, is we didn't change our potential. That was there. And it wasn't even taking more action. Taking more action with a belief it's not going to work, it's not going to change anything. We got results in our head that made us feel certain as if it had already happened. True or false for you?
True.
Right? So give me an example so people know I'm not just making this crap up.
Well, I mean, just like when I had nothing, I already knew I was driving like Ferraris and Porsches and stuff because I always wanted those cars. I already knew I was going to have them. It was inevitable.
Right.
That was just my inevitable outcome.
But how did you do that? Did you have a ritual? Did you think about it regularly? Was it one time you thought about it, or was it something you had an obsession towards?
I had an obsession towards it. I mean, I used to work at a video store, which is the last job I ever had in my life.
Thank God.
And I used to go to work almost every day. And I used to bring 2 magazines with me to read on my breaks. Entrepreneur magazine, just to read about business and everything else, to read about what other people are doing, look for role models. And I used to carry an Auto Trader with me. And I used to look at Porsches that were for sale.
Yeah.
And people always used to ask me, what are you doing with that Auto Trader magazine? I'm like, well, I'm just picking out the Porsche that I'm going to buy.
Right.
Which
probably got you a lot of crap.
I did. People made fun of me.
Sure.
I actually had a boss at that job tell me, you really shouldn't do that to yourself, John, because it's very, very likely that is never going to happen. That it's very likely that you're never going to have that car.
Yeah.
That's the kind of belief he was trying to put in my head. And I was like, no, you don't realize that it's inevitable that I will drive here sometime in the near future with that car when I'm not working for you and drop movies off for you to put back on the shelf. And that actually happened. And it was one of the most fulfilling days of my entire life. And the great thing was when I pulled up in this car, I was in my mid-20s, a car that most mid-20s.
What kind of car was it?
It was a Porsche 911 Turbo. It was a convertible and everything. It was a beautiful car. It was one I always dreamed of having. But, for a few years I always circled the ads of which ones I was going to buy. Well, when I finally got it and I pulled up at the store, I had all these people, some people that were still working at this $7 an hour job were there years after I left. And I'll never forget this, even the boss and stuff. And the reaction of the people was like, wow, that is awesome. Yeah. Is that your dad's car? And all I said to them was, not exactly.
Good for
and
you.
I just smiled and just left. But it was, it's the weirdest thing, but I just knew it was going to happen.
But you knew it because
I conditioned myself
you
to
did it over and over again. Yeah. When I was in high school, I was not a popular kid, but I was passionate and intense, and I'll never forget. Some particular girls gave me some crap, and a guy too. And I wrote in their journals or their annual yearbook at the end, I wrote, someday, I said, you treated me like hell. Someday I'll be rich and famous, and you'll be an effing truck driver, and you'll be sitting there. I'll be with with this beautiful woman of my life, rich, and you'll be watching me on television, thinking, you wish you would have treated me better. I actually wrote this shit in people's annuals because I went to a 10-year high school reunion. People showed me this stuff, right? But it's like I burned the bridges, baby. It's like this is how it's going to be. So I'll give you a perfect.
Okay. All right, so that's really it, guys. Does anybody have any questions? The chat box blew up. Okay, so, oh wait, somebody asked, Kath, is the thing for discount coaches? Can we invite select challengers who may benefit from it? No, this is just gonna be for coaches. I want to make it so people they have to be a part of the team in order to be a part of it. So it's going to be just a benefit for being a coach. You can let challengers know, hey, that we have this call each or every other week where we talk about different nutrition things, we talk about fitness things, and we talk about mindset. So Ashley, well, I'm assuming I probably answered your question in terms of it being a dream board. You can make a dream board. Dream boards are definitely great. I have one up on my wall. It has the car I want, the money I want in my savings, what I want my wedding to look like, what I want my engagement ring to look like all of it. But it's different because your dream board sits in front of you, but your visualization is what you do, what you visualize every day. So when I wake up in the morning, the first thing I do is I sit down and I say my affirmations while I stretch, because I always work out after my meditation practice. So I do like some yoga and I stretch while saying affirmations. So I'm actually getting something else done. Then I read some excerpts from little books I have. I have Meditations for Women Who Do Too Much. I have Raise Your Vibrations by Kyle Gray, which is like a one-day excerpt type of book as well. And then I pick a card from my Universe Has Your Back card deck, and then I visualize, or I'll visualize while I meditate, and then I meditate, and then I'm done. And then I go about my day. So that's kind of what I do it. What else? Daily quote apps. Yeah, daily quote apps are really, really great. Catherine, your love for sleep. Yeah, you and your relationship with your alarm, or your non-existent relationship with your alarm. And Lindsay, I've totally done that before where I've tried to click off the ad. That's why I clicked it off, because I know it would bother me if I didn't click it. So anyway, I hope that was helpful, guys. Let me stop my share. I hope it was helpful to you, Instagram people. I'm going to peace out on you guys. See you later. Okay. Save that. Share. Okay. So anyway, I hope that was helpful. In terms of your visualizations, if you're struggling with kind of figuring out I feel like you are going to know what is right. Don't think that there's a right or a wrong, or this sounds funny. Like I literally told you, like I smell coffee when I wake up, and I know exactly what like my car looks like. Like I have black leather interior with a sunroof in my car, and that's, mark my freaking words, I will have that car. It's in my affirmations too. I say it every single day. I'm not really a material person, but that's like the one thing I really want. So if you're struggling with your visualizations or you're not trying to write them, message me and I will help you kind of figure them out. If you have questions about them, I'm more than happy to help you with them. Just give this a try, guys. This week, even if you're unsure about it, just try. Even if just try it tomorrow. tomorrow and see how it makes you feel. Whether it's about how your life is, just about how your day is going to go. You could do that too. If you wake up and you're having a negative day, like have a visualization about how your day is going to be really awesome. So anyway, have an awesome day, guys. Don't forget tomorrow is the last day to register for November to remember, and I will see you all tomorrow. Peace out.